She is one of the most versatile entertainers you'll ever experience, despite adamantly claiming to be a top. She is self-proclaimed to be the best act in your price range and also the most ignored entertainer working. She is a comedian, actress, writer, and host who just launched her brand new podcast, Burstin Bubbles. When she isn't creating new sketches for her YouTube channel or recording her podcast, Viza has been working on her first book due out this fall, Money Talks, The Rise of the Decline. I'm so excited for her to be here. Give it up for Viza DeCline.
There we go. Hello.
Yes, hello. Ooh, you look good. Look at that. Oh, you look fabulous.
Thank you. I just woke up.
Oh. Well, if that's how you wake up, then I need to know your secrets, because when I wake up, it is a bit of a nightmare.
That's my secret. Money.
Okay, and as a person who's doing a podcast on their own time, I don't make any money.
Trust me, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
I love this background that you have going on right now.
Thank you. It was actually fabric for a dress that I used to have, and this was the scraps left over, and then I was like, oh, it's perfect. I can just use this as a backdrop. So I've used it in some of my photos, and then I've just been literally going through scraps of fabric from like old like costumes for stage, and I've just been making backdrops out of them.
Amazing. It's so like I guess for
crafty during quarantine.
Crafty during quarantine. That should be maybe a new Viza show.
DIY.
A new DIY show with you. It looks very like Emerald City from like The Wizard of Oz. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it was like a mint green.
Okay.
And I got it when mint was like the color of the season. So I was like, oh, it'll be good.
Is mint back in? My mom said today on the phone, because my girlfriend's going to her brother's wedding, so she's looking for a dress. And my mom was like, she should get green. Green is in right now. And I was like, Mom, what are you watching? And I think she watches the Marilyn Dennis show, so maybe they said it on that.
I wouldn't trust the Marilyn Dennis show unless it's like a gay guy who's like telling people what to wear. I don't trust Marilyn Dennis. Because then it cuts to the studio audience usually, and you're like, oh, okay.
I know. Jill and I
Marshall's great.
I mean, yes. We went to the Marilyn Dennis show on my vacation from work. So because we only got so many days, so one of the days she always wanted to be in the audience for either The Social or Marilyn Dennis. And we went, and it was super fun. Like, it was really like the people who like ran the audience were super fun, but every once in a while they're like, and clap, here you are, you're on
super excited to be here.
And I met Marilyn Dennis, and we got a picture with her, which up close, bless her sweet soul.
There's a reason she was on radio for so long.
I guess. I mean, she's lovely, but I mean, she's clearly had a bit of work done. And I mean, to each their own. If that's what you like, then I say do it. Get to it.
Yeah.
But she looked at me and she goes, I haven't seen you in so long. And I was like, I don't think we've ever met.
And then you're like going through your mind. You're like, have I met Marilyn Dennis before?
I know. And then her assistant was like, I think she means, he was like, you were in that Lotto Max commercial, right? And I was like, yeah, I was in a Lotto Max commercial. So she just meant she hasn't seen the commercial in a while. And I wanted to be like, well, Marilyn, let Lotto Max know so I can make money.
Oh my God.
Do
you think she plays? Do you think she plays Lotto Max?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She must. She must.
Even if you're making a lot of money, you're probably just like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. The chance. It's gambling. It's taking a chance. And she has enough money that she probably could buy a couple of tickets a week.
No. Several
tickets. How are you doing, Viza? How are things?
I'm good. I'm like really trying to stay positive during quarantine. Like I've been really I've done a lot of self-reflecting, like near the start of it. I'm actually going to do one of my podcasts this week. I think I'm going to talk about that a bit. Yeah. But I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting on my life, things that I didn't like that I've done, things that I didn't take more pride in that I should have at the time. And I've just been really doing like a checklist in my mind. I've been going on nature walks.
Oh,
so much. Like I live near the DVP, like Rosedale area. So I've been going on nature walks throughout there. I've been finding trails that go to like Brickworks and like,
oh wow,
went on this hike the other day and I was just like, if no one finds me, I'm gone. I'm like, if I don't get out of this trail, There's no way anyone will ever come across me ever again. Like, this is it for me. But I made my way through. It was like, yeah, I got really high at one point on a hill, and I don't like heights. And then I just looked down and I immediately was like, oh, okay. Like, I got vertigo right away. Yeah, it was like
gosh,
Liza Minnelli on like
awful.
Arrested Development.
Yeah, I get vertigo too. It's scary. It's like the most terrifying like thing, and it's such a weird thing to have too, is vertigo, because you're like, well, there's not much I can do about it, but it feels truly awful. It feels like you constantly have the spins.
Oh yeah, and just trying to just get your mind to wrap around what is happening in that moment is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been going on a lot of hikes as well. I talk a lot about it. I keep being like, I think I'm in a big camping phase. Like, I want to go camping, and I think they're open now, which is nice, but I don't know. I know you can book on the website, but I'm like, what's the protocol? Like, how does that work? But we've been going on a lot of hikes. I didn't realize how many beautiful, like, I mean, I know I've lived in the city and there's lots of nature here, but I don't think I realized how much.
Yeah. There's so many like little hidden gems around the city that I said to my friend, we went on a walk the other day, and I said, one of the good things about quarantine, I will say, is that I never would have had a summer like this if I was working. Like, on my days off, I would probably not be out here walking the children in nature, you know, like just walking around. I would not be enjoying and reconnecting with like the fresh air as much as I would have. And like, I would not have gone looking for all these little spots around Toronto. So definitely helped open my mind and like clear it. And like, it's also been good because I've like almost lost like 20 pounds during quarantine, which is crazy.
Congrats.
Yeah, I'm like, this dress I'm wearing is safety pinned in certain areas just to keep it tight on me right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think if this quarantine had happened, I don't think I would be out walking as much as I have been. And it's been like in nature, like and it is so relaxing and so calming being in this like pandemic kind of time. And being like, I just need to get to nature. I just need to be where it's quiet, where I know I'm safe for a minute, and I can hear the birds chirp.
Yeah, I've definitely reconnected with myself, and I've realized some of the bad habits that were really hurting me. Early on in quarantine, I actually had a knee issue where I like walked off a sidewalk and then like I twisted something, and then I had some sort of flare up. Like I get arthritis now and then, rheumatoid arthritis. I get little flare ups, and I had a flare up, and during the flare up, I couldn't walk that much. Like, I was using a crutch. I was very homebound. Like, my friend had to go get groceries for me one day. And during that time, I was actually able to quit smoking because I couldn't get up to go buy a pack of cigarettes. And I've been smoking at this point for like 8 years. I've been like smoke free for about 3 months now, which is like close to the longest I've ever gone without a cigarette. So I knew, I'm like, okay, last time I quit smoking, I gained so much weight because like that's what happens.
Yep.
So I like instinctively put in my mind, no, you have to quit smoking. This is the time to do it. You have to keep it up. So I have like this stationary bike. I use that.
Oh, wow.
And I just use it every day, and I'm burning a certain amount of calories and keeping myself accountable just so I can like maintain it and take better care of myself. And quarantine, I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for quarantine. So there are some positives to it, even though I'm going crazy and I miss my coworkers. I miss my friends. Well, some friends I've seen and I FaceTime with, but like there are a lot of people I miss, but it was nice because I actually got to reconnect with someone I didn't realize I missed, and that was myself. So.
Oh, well, that's so lovely. What a lovely way to look at it. Yes.
Yeah, well, I've been meditating too. Like I have so much Italian like anger inside me a lot of times. So I've been really trying to meditate and be more positive and like not really be as negative, which is really hard for me. But
that's fair. I'm
a Scorpio.
Uh-oh. I'm a Leo, so
fiery.
I am fiery, yeah. That's amazing. I see you're drinking something.
Yes. Well, it was supposed to be a dirty martini, but I forgot I ate all my olives. So it's just vodka. And then I had it on the rocks, but the rocks have slowly melted.
As
global warming. So
global warming, and it is hot. This summer is warm.
Today is not that bad, which is nice.
That's good.
Like, I woke up in my apartment and there was a nice coolness to it, so I was pretty happy because I tried to get into face I tried to put all my makeup on a few days ago to because I'm doing a photo series and I'm doing like a Hollywood thing, and I did Maryland. And then I took photos afterwards, and I was like, oh, you can tell it was hot in my apartment. Like I just look melty. Like I'm still gonna post the photos tomorrow because I gotta like train my mind to be like, don't be so critical of yourself. But it's not my best application, so it is what it is. But today, putting makeup on was a little bit easier, which was nice. A little bit nice.
Amazing. Well, it looks wonderful, and I feel like I'm drinking a Woodhouse berry sour. I'm just gonna open it. And I thought it matches your purple vibe because it is a purple sour. So purple's
my favorite color. So
I love purple. I'm getting really into the color pink this summer, like shades of pink, like blush, rose, like
I love a good blush
salmon.
Wine.
Yeah. I just bought new sneakers that are, I guess my mom calls them a blush color. I've been really into them. I think it's my new summer vibe is this.
There you go.
This color, bright colors. I usually wear dark colors, so.
Mix that salmon color with the mint, you're good to go.
We're set. My little dinosaur and I match. We're good.
Oh, yeah, it actually goes with the backdrops here.
I know, right? We
really
synced up. We color coordinated without coordinating. Great minds think alike. Improv. Great minds think alike. Okay, so Viza, you have a new podcast out. I just listened to it, Burstin Bubbles. I love it.
Yes.
It's so fun. It's you talking about pop culture, reality TV, everything.
Yeah, like I love pop culture. I'm constantly consumed with it. And I think my favorite part of it is I get to just dissect it as for what it is, which is frivolous, a lot of times stupid. And so I'm like, well, why not just make it into a joke because it already is one in itself, you know?
Why not? Yeah, of course.
And like there are way too many people on Twitter who take celebrity culture seriously and the stands and all that shit. And I'm like, can we swear on the show?
Yes. Oh my God. Absolutely.
Okay. So fuck that shit. I hate it. I hate this stan culture that's out there where people are like, this person can do no wrong. It's like, no, people need to be held accountable. People need to be called out. People need to be shown how stupid their decisions are, you know?
Absolutely. And I love that. And you're doing, because also on this podcast, I've just started doing something called Hot Takes, which is just me doing hot takes on what I've been into recently, like in pop culture. They're just little like 15, 20-minute things. But recently I've been getting heated about Below Deck.
See, I kind of lost a little bit of interest with Below Deck this season. And now that Kate's not returning, I'm like not that interested. I might try might switch over to the sailing Below Deck because they had a full season. Yeah, I haven't watched that yet, and they have a full season, and I have Hey You, so I'm like, oh, I might as well.
Might as well. I know. I went all the way back because I had watched a couple of seasons. One season of Below Deck Med is how I started with my girlfriend, and she was watching it. And I was like, what is this show? And I was like, oh, reality TV show. And then I was like, I'm obsessed. I want to be a yachty.
I know there are some times where you're like, oh, that actually would be a nice little summer gig, you know?
I'm like 6 fucking weeks in the Mediterranean or the Caribbean on a boat serving billionaires.
Yeah, and I can't stand it too when they're like so pissed off about the tip, and I'm like, do you know how much more people have had to do for far less for a tip? Like
for far less.
You. Sorry, it's only $1,500 each.
Oh, it's not what we're used to. $1,100 in 3 days. And that's on top of their like wage as well. Which
because I'm sure they're getting paid for being on camera.
Absolutely. And I also just get so mad too when they get like so stupid about work and they're like, I can't stay here. I can't stay on this boat. I go, you got 4 weeks left.
Yeah. Just go for a swim. You'll be fine.
You're about to make probably $5,000 to $10,000 in those 5 weeks. Stay. Who cares?
And then like they get a day off after like the 3 days, and then they just go and let loose. And I'm just like, you just get to hang out by a pool and drink and eat. Like, shut up. You are so ungrateful. But you know what? That isn't an American mentality. It's a very American mentality. And I can say that because my sister married an American. And every time I've gone to the States, I've just like my brother-in-law is great and his family are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad there, but just being in St. Louis and just going to restaurants and seeing how people just treat servers and then the servers, how they treat guests. And I'm just like, oh, everyone's just fucking rude.
Yes.
Like,
and it is interesting because I feel
just
like
be
a
a
lot
buffet if you don't want to serve people, you know? Like,
yes, go work somewhere. Go
Yeah.
work at a buffet. Go work on a cruise line.
Yeah.
Which apparently is the bottom of the barrel in yachting. I also just not like, I guess a lot of the people who decide to leave mid-charter are a lot of the Americans. I'm realizing now, like a lot of them are Americans, or the ones that cause a lot of the problems are Americans. The Canadians usually are pretty like even Kate says, she's like, oh, great, a Canadian, they're easy to work with, they're usually kind, and she's right. And Kate, I fucking love Kate, and I'll defend Kate to the ends of the earth.
I kind of want her to now get transferred to a Real Housewives franchise.
Oh, please. Yes.
Like, I think, because I don't know if she lives in New York or if she's more near like California, but either the New York Housewives or the Orange County. I think she needs to be plopped into one of those.
Oh my gosh, I would die. I would watch. I don't watch Real Housewives, but I would if Kate was on. Kate
Real
tells
Housewives
it like it is.
So good. So good.
Is it? Yeah. Which one is your favorite?
So for the longest time, it was New Jersey because it just reminded me of family, because just the crazy Italians flipping tables. And then I really got into New York, and I still really like New York. This season's not that good. Orange County, I've given up on. I love Beverly Hills. Lisa Rinna, hilarious in my eyes. And Denise Richards is on the last 2 years, and she's great.
Denise Richards? Really?
Yeah, she talks about Charlie Sheen and like a lot of shit like that.
Whoa.
And like how Charlie Sheen showed up to Thanksgiving, and there was like
drama,
lady of the night in the car, and then she invited her in for Thanksgiving dinner, and like it's crazy. But Potomac is a series that a lot of people sleep on, but it's probably one of the best. It's just like,
it's called Potomac.
Yeah, Real Housewives of Potomac, and it's
Where is that?
I have no idea.
Like, is it in the United States, or is it somewhere? Okay.
It's United States.
Potomac. Sounds like Idaho or something.
Yeah, there's like
Midwest.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's near Maine. God, I can't remember. I'm going to have to look that up later.
We're going to have to look it up. I know. I'm like, can I Google something? Or we'll find it. Potomac. I have to watch it.
There are so many characters. There's this one. She's a younger housewife, and she's married to this guy. And there's, for the last few seasons, all these rumors about him being gay, and like how there was actually a lawsuit where a PA on the show accused him of trying to grab his ass, and like they caught something on camera of like a mic where audio was picked up about something, and then she got pregnant. So now this season she's like, it's
drama.
Yeah, so I think this season she's finally had the kid, and I think she has the kid in this, but then there's still more accusations coming forward about him. So it should be. It's like they're in season 5 now, so
crazy.
Should be good.
I watched. I did watch a little bit of Real Housewives of Atlanta back in the day.
Atlanta's good too.
This would have been a long time ago, probably when it first came out, and because I remember. Oh gosh, what's her name? The blonde, and she sings, "You'll be tardy for the party."
Yeah, Kim. She looks like a blow-up doll now.
Oh, really?
She's had so much work done. I'll send you a photo after this.
Please.
So much work.
That's that's so funny.
Eyebrows are up so high. There's barely a crease anymore because everything's been pulled, and like the lips are just like baboon's ass.
Yes. That's crazy.
Prolapse.
Baboon's prolapsed ass.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's so funny. And I remember also an episode where she, I think, was on a date with Lindsay Lohan's dad.
Yes.
And that was huge drama. And I was like, that's Lindsay Lohan's dad. He's a bad guy, I think.
God, that family would do anything for attention. Like
anything.
Like the dad, the mom, even the little sister at one point. It's like, yikes.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my goodness. So what made you want to start a podcast?
I mean, I've done a podcast before, and I've been on other people's podcasts, but I would just I would watch things, or I would hear news stories, and I would come up with these little responses to them, knee-jerk reactions, and I was like, I need to start documenting these,
Yeah.
So I decided to do that, and you know what? I'm really good at talking to myself, especially during this quarantine because I live alone. So I'm like, I might as well talk and record.
I love your podcast, and I haven't listened to the reality check one because I haven't watched episode 2 of Drag Race yet, of Canada's Drag Race. I've only watched the first episode, but I loved just listening to the first episode of Burstin Bubbles. I just loved it. You're so charming on it, and just the way you've structured it too is so wonderful, and it just sounds like you're
my little
almost
stock market.
Yes, I love the stock market. It was so cute, and I loved I think we had a chat about this the other day about using sound effects in a podcast, and is it okay to? And I was like, of course. It's we're comedians, we're entertainers. We're every once in a while you need that just little pop, right?
And you'll actually when you listen to Reality Check, I've added in a few more clips. Just to really punctuate the jokes. And I feel sometimes, especially when there's no visual involved and it's just audio, you have to add those things to really amp it up.
Of course.
Because when you take the visual gag out of it, you need just more sensory to heighten it.
Love it. Are you doing a lot of performance? Because you have recently been coming out with a lot of photos and a lot of new YouTube sketch videos, which I love. You did that one, the one lip sync with the 4 screens,
Who's
Zoom and Who, and it was so good and so well put together. Do you have more stuff like that coming out?
I actually have. I have some ideas for some lip syncs, but I kind of want to give a break to that, and I have some sketches I want to put out. I have a tutorial, makeup tutorial. I have a ASMR sketch. So I got a few ideas that are coming down. I've written them out. I just have to record them.
Amazing.
So,
that's awesome.
The makeup one, I think I'm going to record tomorrow, or maybe even after this, since I'm already in makeup. So I just every day I'm trying to find a project to do. That's why I want to do the podcast. And then one day I'll be like, okay, one day I'll write the podcast, and one day I'll write a sketch, or one day I'll add something to the book, just to keep it going and just to keep my mind flowing.
Of course. Are you finding... No, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say in the photo series too, just trying to keep myself remembering okay, let's get creative and look in your closet and what Hollywood icon can you put something together for today,
Yeah, and the photos are beautiful. The Lucy one was incredible. You look just like Lucille Ball, and
that was a pink dress short that I used for work, and then I added white cloth. I safety pinned the white cloth because I wanted to do the chocolate factory kind of pink look.
The iconic.
So that was that. The Elizabeth Taylor was actually a dress I turned around, unzipped the front, so the zipper was in the front rather than the back, just to give me that illusion. Then I pulled it down, and then the hair was an updo I have that I just flipped around and pulled down. It was so stupid. The Maryland one, I actually wrapped myself in a pink tablecloth because I don't have a pink dress, so I had this hot pink tablecloth plastic that I wrapped myself in to give the illusion of the gentlemen prefer blondes look. So just stupid things like that, where it's just be funny and dumb with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love them. I love it. Are you finding that during this quarantine that you've actually had more time to sit and be creative, actually do the things that you want to do? I know for me, the first month of quarantine, I was no, I don't want to do anything. I'm burnt out, and I would love the rest. And also panic because I don't know if I'm going to get a disease or not. And then all of a sudden I was I have to be creating. I have to do something. So then finding ways, because our job right now, we work at Second City together, is shut down, obviously, because it is a theater, so it won't be opening for a little while. So for me, I kind of was okay, what are all the things that I've always kind of wanted to do? Or also, what are some backup ideas that I can do and do now and find and figure out and learn. And I've been watching so many YouTube videos on how to like editing and how to build your podcast and how to the correct lighting for these things or how to make those things look good. So for you, is that something that's been beneficial during this time?
Oh, for sure. Like when I started too, I was exactly the same, where I was very worried. I went into like a survival mode, but I didn't realize that I was actually, that survival mode triggered me to actually come out of a previous survival mode that I was in. And maybe like a few weeks, a month after, like feeling very down and like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? It was like, okay, time to get creative, time to focus on things you before didn't have the time to focus on, you know? So like, that's where the writing came, and then playing around with makeup and like trying out different looks and like my website. Oh, excuse me, as I bark. So like my website, like figuring out a program, and then I like taught myself how to use that program, and then I built my website in like 4 hours, you know, like, so just different things like that, where it was like really giving me the time to work on my brand that I didn't give myself the time before to do. Because before I would work on something and then I'd give my attention to it, but it wasn't my full attention because I had my regular work that I had to do. And there were other things that I was trying to focus on as well. So now it's been really nice to have a schedule to be creative.
Right. Oh, that's so lovely. I know it is. It truly is just a lovely time to also slow down and be able to be invested in the things that you kind of have been wanting to do, that, you know, everyday life kind of keeps you in this like one mindset, like I got to go to work, I have to do this, and here's when I sleep, and I also need to be social. And now we have this extra time to actually put the things together, which feels so good. And for you, who's inspired you to kind of, I'm here now, I'm burping now because this berry sour is
the
bubbles.
vodka just hit me and I was just like, oh God.
Ooh, the bubbles. Who's inspired you to kind of be in this form of like entertainment in the comedy world? Who's inspired you the most to like, because also like what's incredible I find about you is that you do design all of your things. You are your own hair, makeup, costuming, like everything team, creative content. So who in your
I have someone
world
make my dresses for me.
Okay. but even still, like talking about Lucy and like finding ways to like help you like amplify what maybe you already had.
Well, I mean, yeah, like Lucille Ball, since I was a kid, has always been a huge inspiration because like my grandmother used to sit me down after school and make me watch reruns. It was Lucy, then it was Designing Women and Golden Girls. So like I was set up to just be like campy as fuck.
Yes.
So yeah, Lucy was big, and Lucy's like has always continued to be an inspiration in my life. I read her autobiography, and there were like things that lined up similar to me in my career so far. So I always just keep telling myself, I'm like, your I Love Lucy's around the corner. Like, just don't worry, it's coming. Because like she was disregarded, she was mistreated, she was kind of pushed aside, forgotten about, and I just keep telling myself, I'm like, no, it'll come. Just be patient. And then Joan Rivers too. Like that's another one. Like watching The Marvelous Miss Mabel, watching that on Prime recently, and like just binging it, and realizing how much they took from actually Joan Rivers' life for that show. And yeah, like Joan Rivers a few years ago, I really found out about her. Like just studied her. Like I always knew who she was, and I watched her comedy, but then I actually delved into like the backstory, the trauma she experienced, and everything she overcame. And I just saw that as inspiration, because you know what, if someone can go through their husband killing themselves and going bankrupt around the same time, and then like pulling yourself back up, it's like, no, that's someone you should look up to and be like, okay, I can get through things.
And that's Joan Rivers? That's Joan Rivers that you're talking about? I did not know that. I didn't know that she went bankrupt. I didn't know her husband killed herself. Wow, I got to really do some research. I only knew her because I know she was at Second City in Chicago back in the day. And
she was there for a year.
And they did not like performing with her. But that's because she's her own thing. Like she does best when she's like on her own and doing like stand up or her own type of comedy, right?
And that's where I'm at now too, because like it was never that I didn't play well with others. It was that I feel like I'm on a different wavelength at times. And my mind just works differently than other people when it comes to entertainment. Like there are people I'll see on stage. I'm like, why are you on stage? Like, no, someone else deserves to be on that spot. Like, get the fuck out of the way, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I was very much like, so my friend Katinka said to me, she's like, you've always like beat your own drum and like march to the beat of your own drum. And I've never fallen in line with what other people do. I've never done the same things as other people or even try to. I've always kind of just put my own twist on things. And Joan Rivers did that too. So I take inspiration from her in that way and just realizing, hey, stop trying to fit in, stop trying to be like other people and just focus on your own uniqueness and just amplify it.
Then that's incredible. I love that. That's such a good way to look too, because as comedians, we are all individual and we all have our own style. And I think recognizing too that if you are like someone who you're like, no, I'm a bit different than this world that I'm supposed to be in. And
like I don't want to bring myself to that level or like form myself into fit into a box, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You're your own entity, and I really love that. And also just knowing, putting those two, like Lucille Ball and Joan Rivers together, that does seem like the perfect like mashup
combo
of who you are and who you are as an entertainer as well, and how you perform. Like you can see it, like you have this like incredibly like over the top
aggressive clown.
Yes. That is maybe the perfect way to put it. But a classy aggressive clown, I have to say.
Well, I mean, both of them were very glamorous in their own way, you know. Joan Rivers' fashion was campy and it was a certain style of glam. Lucy on the show was different, but then outside of that had her own image and her own look to her that she cultivated over years. So.
Yes. Yeah, and I love Lucille Ball. I used to watch that. And those three shows that you mentioned, I watched the I Love Lucy show. Like my mom I don't know if she bought the DVDs or we watched them in reruns, but I remember also watching in reruns Designing Women. I don't think I've ever heard, maybe you and Selena Vile have spoken to me about Designing Women. I don't know anyone else who talks about that show, and I love that show because also the Golden Girls, which is my all-time favorite show ever in the history of TV because it's brilliant and it's perfect and it forever will be. Still applies today. Even like the Golden Palace, their spinoff after B. Arthur was like, I'm done now with TV, and you're like, B, come on, girl.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to try Broadway again.
I'm going to try Broadway again. You're like, fair enough. Like, good for you. But even Golden Palace was a great season for that show, and then.
It had only lasted one season.
24 episodes. And it was great. I loved it. And I felt like that show, I guess, going on a Golden Girls tangent right now, because I felt like while it was an ensemble of women on the Golden Girls, B. Arthur kind of ended up, because she was the matriarch of the group, kind of ended up
she was the link for all the characters.
She was the link of everybody. So she was, and then in Golden Palace, Rue McClanahan got to really have her moment on that show because it felt like she all of a sudden took over that role that B. Arthur had. And Rue McClanahan has some brilliant acting on that show. Some absolutely brilliant acting, like the one that's circulating right now all over social media. Don Cheadle, the Camptown Races episode. And that was such a beautiful episode. So there's another one later on in the series, and I'd have to rewatch it because maybe I'm sure there's some offensiveness in it that is not the right way to speak about things. But back in the day when it was like early 90s, at the time they were being very progressive. And there's an episode where her brother, everyone thinks she's like seeing a man because she's got this big secret and he's coming to town, but it's just her brother, and he is I don't think he has Downs, but he has a mental disability, and it's like that she's embarrassed by him but loves him so much, and it's not even that she's embarrassed, it's that she's just doesn't understand it and wants to protect him. And then it's this beautifully acted episode of TV
Oh,
that
wow.
I remember being like, wow, you can
I'm gonna
actually
have to look that up.
You should. All of Golden Palace is on YouTube. I think somebody posted every episode, so you can watch them. And the acting, I truly remember watching that being like, oh, wow, you can do these heartfelt, dramatic, like very tense-driven episodes with very serious issues, but the characters are what makes the comedy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think
because
it's
people already
beautiful.
knew the characters, they could like push it a little bit more.
Exactly. And they pushed a lot on that show. And I mean, that's probably because it was created by a woman and written by a bunch of gay men.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's still issues on it, but
that's the thing. Even in the pilot of Golden Girls, like Justice for Rico, was that his name? Rico, the house guy, the
oh my
house
gosh.
man.
Oh, I gotta look at it. Oh no, what's his name? He's only in that first episode.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Rico. It's Golden Girls. He was like a maid or so. Just
Yeah, he was like the little houseboy who'd make cocktails and have like one sassy thing to say, and then they just wrote him out after one episode.
Coco. Was it Coco? Yeah. The fifth Golden Girl was a man named Coco.
Oh, wow.
The fancy man in the kitchen is what Sophia calls him.
That was always the term, fancy.
He's a fancy man.
He's light on his feet and fancy.
But I love that you watched Designing Women too, because I love that show. That was another show. Well, did Linda Hamilton from Terminator, Linda Bloodworth, is it her name? Linda, who created? Oh my gosh, my brain. She also created Soap. Remember the show Soap with Billy Crystal?
Oh, and he was the first, apparently.
And he was the first. So the person who created that, I think, created Designing Women.
Oh, I did not know that.
I think so. I could be wrong. But anyway, back to Designing Women. Phenomenal show.
I actually share a birthday with one of them, Annie Potts.
Oh, Annie Potts.
Same birthday, October 28th.
Amazing. I love that show.
I actually have a bunch of like famous people on my birthday that it's like ridiculous. Like
who?
Got Julia Roberts.
Oh.
Bill Gates and Caitlyn Jenner.
That's a lot of famous people.
I got Oscar winner, like tech icon, and then someone who can't merge into traffic. So it's like it's a real interesting collection of people.
I think the only celebrity I can think of that has my birthday, which is August 7th, is David Duchovny.
Oh.
X-Files.
The truth is out there.
And the truth is out there. And it's crazy because Gillian Anderson's birthday is August 9th. And I always thought that. I was like, oh, they're 2 days apart. Also, Gillian Anderson. Woo!
Have you watched Sex Ed?
Oh, I watched the first season. I haven't watched the second yet because I just haven't. I want to really take time and sit down because it is so good, that show.
It is so good, but you might as well take time too because who knows when they're going to film season 3 now.
Yeah,
but
you're true. Yeah, that's true.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah,
I thought the season 1 was great, and then in season 2, I'm like, this is really going.
It's so funny because I was talking to Coco and Daphne today, and we were talking about because they've been watching Game of Thrones. And
I love how you interviewed Coco and Daphne today, and then you're like, what was the name of the houseboy?
I know, Coco. Oopsie. And we were talking about how the British just seem to know how to do TV, like how to act. Like there's something about it where it's not about celebratory status for them. It's about the craft, and you can feel that too on Sex Ed.
Well, even outside of like a scripted show like that, one of the shows I'm obsessed with and I came obsessed with during quarantine is Gogglebox. Have you ever watched that?
No.
Goggle, Goggle box. And it's this show from the BBC, and they put cameras in the living rooms of like people in different areas of the UK.
Oh.
And they watch television and react to it. So they all are required to watch the same shows, and then they splice in people's reactions. It is one of the funniest shows. It's won a bunch of awards, and it's like just real people reacting to news clips, Netflix shows, documentaries. Hilarious.
Sounds
like
a
the
dream.
Characters that are on there. I wish, I don't know why CBC or CTV have not come up with a Canadian version, because I'd be like, feel free, put a camera in my house and let me just like talk shit about television. Like that's my dream job right there.
Yeah.
So someone needs to get on it because the concept is just brilliant.
That's
and they
amazing.
actually just started one in Australia. So I'm like, it's
coming.
keep it
it's
going.
Coming.
Yeah.
That sounds
there's so many franchises now for every show. We just got Drag Race, so you might as well get a Canadian goggle box.
I know, right? A goggle box. That sounds like a true dream for me. I love when people sit and do commentary over like shows. I love to do it myself because I love reacting to things. And that sounds like a show. I'm going to look that up because that sounds right up my alley.
There's a Facebook, there's a bunch of Facebook groups and they like upload like in 4 parts each episode so it doesn't get taken down. But yeah, it's hysterical.
Amazing.
Hysterical.
Wow. Well, you just said,
you should watch when they react to Tiger King.
Oh,
they do an episode where they all react to Tiger King.
That sounds.
Oh, he's married to that one. Oh, and he's married to that one too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger King is a whole thing in itself. So.
Does that not feel so long ago? It was like the start of quarantine. And like, I was talking about that the other day with someone. Like they were like, hey, remember Tiger King? And I was like, that feels like it was years ago at this point, but it was like maybe 3 months ago.
Maybe max 3 months ago. That's it is wild to me how time has felt to go very slow, but also very quickly.
Yeah.
It's like a weird mix of like the months seem to go by fast, but the time in them seems to go by so slow.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, or if the world maybe is the axis of the earth is all fucked up right now.
Nature is healing. Nature is healing,
and let's keep it going, please. I think it needs.
Someone shared a picture of the sunset on their Instagram the other day, and it looked like cotton candy, and I was like, wow. To think there are a bunch of little Katy Perrys hatching on that cloud right now. Nature is truly healing. We are in a golden age, people. Like,
there's going to be a lot of Katy Perrys hopping off that cloud onto some fireworks and singing a tune
with a big smile because that's her new album apparently.
Smile, big smile. Just go Smile.
It's called Smile, and she's a clown on the front cover of it. I was like,
oh God, I hate clowns. Okay. Clowns scare me. Not a big fan.
I mean,
of clowns.
It looks really good, but I'm still like, it's interesting album art considering what she's done before.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you've been watching Canada's Drag Race. So this is our iteration of Canada's Drag Race. I watched the first episode, and I don't watch Drag Race. I have to say, I'll preface, I do not watch Drag Race. I've watched a couple of seasons back when I was in university when it first came out, and my roommates sometimes watch they've been watching it, so I've seen, and I obviously know what it is. But Canada's Drag Race is the first one where I was like, I really want to watch this because I know some of these queens, and I've seen them perform in Toronto, and I've met them, and they're wonderful, and I really liked it.
For a Canadian production alone, because a lot of Canadian franchises of reality shows from the States are not that well done, and they don't usually last more than 2 seasons. So the premiere episode, I was really surprised. I thought it was actually, I said this on my podcast, I thought it was better than some of the US's recent offerings of the Drag Race franchise, because I think Drag Race, like RuPaul's Drag Race, has jumped the shark really hard. I think it's been going downhill since like season 6, season 7. After Bianca Del Rio, it just started tanking. It's had little blips, but not as strong as it once was.
Right.
So to see Canada's Drag Race kind of give a little bit new blood into the franchise was really great. I do not like Jeffrey on the judging panel. I will say that. I think there are times he's trying way too hard to be RuPaul.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get her pacing down. And I'm like, this isn't Trixie Mattel doing Snatch Game. Like, it's just be yourself. Brooklyn's been very surprising because I've known Brooklyn for a few years, and to see her in that host role and pull off the jokes and the commentary that she's been able to, it's been great to see because she's not a comedy queen. So seeing her deliver was really great, and I was really proud of her, and I'm always been proud of her because she's accomplished so much. But just seeing her in that role, I'm like, wow, look at you go, good on you, and she's making it her own.
Yes, that's what I like too. I did like her in that role. I thought her energy and the personality that she brought to it was really nice. And I don't know if it's because it is Canada's Drag Race. There's something a little bit nice about it. Not nice, because I think you're right in that. Who's the other judge? Jeffrey?
Jeffrey and Stacey. I like Stacey, and I think Stacey should be there because she's worked the runway how many times now?
Yes. And I like her as well. But Jeffrey, I see what you're saying in that he's trying to get the pacing down of what RuPaul is, and it's like don't try to mimic it. Make it your own, because it's a completely different energy.
It doesn't seem like the right arena for him, to be completely honest. Like he just seems a little out of his element.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Kind of robotic.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the queens so far?
I think there are some really great ones, and I think there are some that are trying too hard for the camera. I don't know. I can name names if you want, but like,
I mean, hey, that's up to you. That's your thing. I'm down for you naming whoever you want.
I mean, I've said it on the podcast already, but like Lemon, for instance, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Lemon, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, yeah, she's 20-something, young, pretty, cool. I get that, great. But in her confessionals, I find she's coming out very fake and produced, and I like someone like Tainomi, who's just like, no, this is how I am. I'm gonna talk to you the way I would normally talk. She's not putting on a show.
And Tainomi is like a more seasoned queen, right? Like she's she's very seasoned, and she's
marinated.
Class.
She is seasoned. Yes. She is good to go.
Slap her on the barbecue, and you know you're getting a good meal. But she is like, and she comes in with this class that you are like, oh, this person has been around for a while and knows what the fuck they're doing. And I love it, which is compared to like who I also love. I mean, I love Priyanka. Like I just do.
Oh, yeah.
I like her energy and her vibe, and I feel like she is just herself in everything I've seen her in ever. Whether she's doing a drag show at like Bad Dog Comedy Theater, or she's at Cruisin' Tangos here in Toronto. I love her as well. And Scarlett Bobo is somebody I've seen a few times. I don't know how you feel about them, but I think they're bringing a new energy.
Like those two, like especially in their confessionals, like that's just them. They're not putting on a show, and just they're great performers. So I'm excited they're on there, and I can't wait to see what they do and what they pull out and where they go. And like obviously, I'm rooting for the Toronto Queens, obviously, because we're from Toronto, so we want to see someone bring it home. But I really like Jimbo too.
Jimbo,
from BC.
Jimbo was amazing, yes.
Hysterical. Just walks in and it's like, all right, now I'm going to do a turn. Like, oh my God. Oh, my nail just fell off.
Oopsie. Well, it's the heat. It's the heat. There are quite a number. My tits off. There are a number of queens though that I like. Not that I was shocked, but I was like, oh wow, Canada has quite a lot of talent. Like that I didn't know. Like I didn't know because I don't know that scene, I guess, very well. But I like Boa I thought was great and very fun. Ilona Verley I thought was really great. I don't know if it was Kiera that I really like. And I haven't seen
Kiera, from Montreal.
Kiera's really lovely. I haven't seen the second episode, but I'll tell you who I don't like is I think it's Kine.
Kine, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't a big fan. I didn't like wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, and I mean, like, to each their own. They've been doing videos. I've never watched one of their videos, but apparently they've done hair and makeup tutorials and sewing tutorials online. And their whole thing was like, oh, I've taught so many people how to do drag. And that's my issue with some of the casting, where I feel like I would have liked for the first season to see a bit more seasoned, like Tainomi. And a little less of the, I've been doing drag this amount of time. Like, I know you need the mix, of course. But it just seems like Tainomi and Rita are the more experienced of the queens. And like, obviously people are cast for different reasons because personalities will clash and people have stories that are really great. I mean, Anastasia is another seasoned queen. So like, she's been around the block, she knows. There's, with Kine, for instance, she's an example of drag, of the current state of drag, where it's very social media based, where they're not actually on stages that often. So unfortunately, they're not, a lot of times, not entertainers necessarily. Like, yeah, you're doing drag, you're getting dressed up, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't classify you as an entertainer.
Right.
That makes sense, you know?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. It is a different medium. Like, they're two separate. Like performing live on stage versus performing like social media on things, because you need very different styles to set. Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
on stage or on that online presence. And on stage is usually like long, like you're doing long sets and you're performing, whether you're lip syncing, dancing, or doing like a stand up, like a comedy bit, mic work, like compared to like maybe doing like a 1 or 2 minute video online, or I guess even vlogging or something where you're just there by yourself and you don't have the audience to like feed off of. It is a very different, they're just very different elements.
Yeah. And like, there are entertainers in different ways. Not being on a stage necessarily means, oh, you're not an entertainer. Like, I don't mean it like that. I just mean like, you can just tell there isn't the experience of, oh, I'm entertain an audience that I can actually see. It's very much I talk to my phone or my camcorder, whatever it is that you use.
My camcorder.
Could you imagine? Right? We'd set up with like VHS camcorder and was like, all right, time to do my makeup.
Like found footage for like Blair Witch, but with drag queens.
Just mascara instead of like snot coming out of their nose. Yeah, like it's very obvious with like stage presence and like even just her walk alone on the runway. Like episode 2, it gets better, but like even just watching episode 1, you're like, yeesh, like first time walking in heels, like
I couldn't do it. I'll tell you right now. I've tried in my past and I say, no, thank you. I don't want that.
Well, because of my arthritis, sometimes like certain heels are way too painful for me. Yeah. Like early on, I used to wear like 4 or 5 inch heels, boots. I would like walk to different gigs wearing those. I was stupid. And then after a while, like a few years, you're like, oh, I've done so much damage to my arches and my feet because of that. So now anytime I see someone young wearing these ridiculous heels, I'm like, see, sporadic with wearing them because you're gonna fuck yourself over in the
I truly like, I watch people walk in them and I go, I don't know how you do this. Yeah. Like I actually don't know how people do it. I'm always so impressed when I see anyone in heels. I go, good on you. Like good on you. A lot of
people, like I've never done this, but a lot of people say they do housework in them to break them in. Yeah, I try to like just dance around, jump up and down in them, just kind of like get them, or just even just lounge about with them on, just so your foot can adapt to it and stretch out.
Fair. But, hey, you know, to each inch their own, you know.
Speaking about inches.
Whoa.
Or you could ask, are you gonna do the cues?
I could do the cues. I was gonna ask you what. I was gonna say, are you actually writing a book called Money Talks? Yeah. Well, okay, we'll talk about, what is that?
It's gonna be just the story of Viza and like life as an entertainer from the start to now, and just what I've encountered, lessons I've learned, with just a bunch of laughs and stupidity thrown in, kind of thing.
Wow. So like, is like a biography, or is it like storytelling?
Yeah, biography in the sense that it's to get. It's a biography in the sense that it's an introduction. Okay. Because a lot of people don't know a lot about me. I'm like I said, I'm a Scorpio, so I keep a lot to myself. I've allowed a lot of people to create their own narratives about me at times, and I've allowed a lot of people to try to tell my story without me actually ever getting a chance to. So this is going to be my opportunity to do it, kind of thing. Set the record straight about some things, and just have some fun.
I love that. Have you started it, or is it like almost finished? You have.
I wouldn't say almost finished. I'm probably 1/3 done.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, because like throughout quarantine, I've been like remembering stories and writing it down. So to get it like finalized, that I'm not near that. Right. So it's just pretty much been organizing, and then I come up with an idea. I'm like, oh, I can throw in a chapter here about this, and I just keep adding to it. So maybe it's prolonging me, and maybe I should be like, hey, I can make another book with some of these things later on. But
hey, you have to remember the things and do, like, a book is hard. I can't even think about writing a book because I would have so many stories that I would want to tell, and then I feel like as you write, more things come to mind and you think about more things. So I'm impressed.
A lot of things you repress also come to mind.
Yes, a lot of things you repress.
I was talking about like school stuff, and then all of a sudden I just remembered an incident about this French teacher I had when I was in elementary school. Was clearly gay, and the kids used to make fun of him for being gay, and I never clued in what they were doing. And I never realized how fucking gay this guy actually was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like I remember one time he showed up with this little pig nose for Halloween and then this little mask and was like, woo, and we were like, and then I remember it was a Catholic school. It was a Catholic school. And I remember there was a meeting with like parents about him and like how kids were bullying this guy because the kids kept being like, oh, he's gay. And I totally forgot about all that shit that happened. And then I look back now and I'm like, oh, God, that poor man, what he must have went through because of all those fucking snot-nosed kids.
Yeah, what a bunch
in
of
Hamilton.
pieces of shit. Ugh. What a bunch of shits. That's awful. That poor man. But that's great. I'm so excited for your book. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I might throw in some pictures too, just to
please
fill
it in.
You
should do it. Well, add some extra pages.
Well, yeah,
but why not, right? Like show off who you are and show off your work.
RuPaul does it. Well, I might.
Why can't you? You might as well.
Throw in a bunch of photos.
Okay. Do you want to do these quick cues with me right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are just quick cues. I'm just calling it quick cues because I still haven't figured out a name yet for it, but I just like to change it every time. So quick cues with me. So we're going to try to answer as many as you can in 3 minutes. I don't know. I make up the rules here. Okay. What's your biggest party fail?
Oh, I fell asleep at a party and then I woke up and it was at my friend's place, and then they put me in their bed, and then him and his boyfriend were sleeping on their couch, and I felt really bad because I fell asleep on the couch, and they literally had to move me into their bed while there was a party going on. It was like, yeah.
I feel like
and someone showed me a photo the next day, and they were like, "Yeah, this is what you look like," and I was just like passed out. Yeah, it was not.
I feel like
pretty.
so many people have stories of just passing. Like I've fallen asleep at bars before on the table, being like, and then being like, I hate when people do that. Why did I do that? Did I get so tired that I fell asleep? Like, just go home. Go home.
It just hits you.
It really does. What's your favorite song to dance to?
Ooh, honestly, to pick one is hard, but I love 80s synth pop. So anything in that area, like,
amazing.
I love a good little
beat. Those shoulders.
Well, I got the shoulder pads. My designing women's shoulder pads.
They look good.
Well move them around. Maybe Bizarre Love Triangle.
Okay.
Bizarre Love Triangle.
A Bizarre Love Triangle. I love that. I'm going to look it up. And that's why I asked that question, so I can know more people's music and I can really look them up. What's your favorite reality TV show of all time?
Of all time, yeah, probably the Real Housewives franchise.
Real Housewives. Amazing. If we were at happy hour right now, what would be the first thing you would order?
Happy hour? It would be vodka martini, extra dirty, extra olives.
Extra dirty. I love that. Yes. Finish this sentence. It's Saturday night, 2 a.m., and I'm watching...
myself order pizza. Drunk in a mirror. Being like, what are you doing to yourself? What are you doing to yourself?
Why are you doing this? Perfect answer. Okay, and final question. It's the end of the night. The party's winding down. Everyone's heading home. Everyone's had a great time. But how do you want people to remember you at the end of the night?
Hilariously chaotic.
Ooh, I like those. That's a wonderful way to yes, hilariously chaotic. Yes, we all want somebody like that at a party because it's fun.
Like I've always been a chatter, and there was a time where my chatting got me into a lot of trouble as a kid and as an adult. So I really tried to like suppress it for a while, but now I'm just like, no. Especially with quarantine and not having anyone to talk to that as much, I'm like, no, I like to talk. So that's definitely been something I've been working on doing more, is just no holds barred, chatty.
Amazing. I love that. Well, Viza, thank you so much for being here with me on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Always. You're always welcome back, too, if you ever want to come back and have one more round with me. But this was a delight. I love everything that you're doing, from your wonderful work. I really do. Like, I turn to Jill all the time. You posted a photo the other day, and I was like, look at Viza. She looks phenomenal. And Jill's like, yes, I know.
I know. I follow her too. Oh my God.
Just so excited for people, for my friends who are doing incredible work. And speaking of incredible work, are there any causes that you would like to shout out? I'm trying with this pod, as I've said before, to bring awareness to interesting or new causes are doing great things in the community, whether if people can donate if they have the means. If not, they can just read up or volunteer their time if they've got it.
Yes, Soy, supporting our youth. It's connected to the Sherborne Health Clinic, and it helps people with questioning their gender, people who are trans, under 29. It really helps them along the process of it. My merch that's actually available through my website, through Redbubble. I'm donating half the profits I make to Soy anytime something is purchased. So that's probably the charity I really push for people to look into and support, because sometimes it doesn't get as much attention in the community compared to other ones. So I really like to mention it.
Amazing. I have heard of Soy, and I really, really love the work that they're doing. So we're going to drop the description for Soy in both the description of the audio and visual podcast, so you can go and donate if you'd like, or just read up on what they're doing. And also check out Viza's Redbubble account so that you can maybe help out two pals by buying merch and also 50% of the proceeds go to Soy, which are incredible. Where else can people follow you?
Well, I do make I make a part of the profit.
Okay.
Redbubble takes a good chunk.
Right.
But I make profit, so half of my profit is going to
Which
Soy.
is incredible.
I don't want people to look at the price and be like, oh, half of that's going to Soy. It's like, no.
Okay. So to reiterate, you're taking the money that you make and donating half of it to Soy, and Redbubble just takes their profits.
Yeah, pretty much, unfortunately.
Where else No, go ahead.
I was looking into getting merch made, and then it was like, that's going to cost me way too much. I'll just go through Redbubble.
That's great. I love it. Where else can people follow you right now?
Instagram and Twitter at the Viza DeCline, Viza with a Z, not Viza with an S, because Viza with an S will get sued. So you gotta remember the Z. And then Viza DeCline, Facebook, and you can just look me up on YouTube. I don't have enough subscribers to get a custom URL yet.
Same.
So I'm working towards that. Yes.
Subscribe to Viza DeCline and me, Tricia Black, so we can get custom URLs on YouTube.
We gotta hit 100.
We must hit 100. I'm at 60 and I'm climbing, hopefully.
Oh, you're further along than me.
Well, I think I've had it longer than you have. So you will get there. I will get there.
Yeah. I just have the one video right now too, which doesn't help. But
fair, but you'll get more. I know you will, because you're creating amazing content, and I again appreciate you so much for being on the podcast. I love you. I adore you. Thank you for having a drink with me and chatting. And I can't wait to see all of the work that you continue to do, and in your wonderful, hilarious, and chaotic way.
And hopefully I'll get to actually see you in person soon too.
Yes,
so
please.
I went from like I said earlier, when we're seeing you almost every day to then not seeing you at all. So
yes,
it's been great to get to see you through this.
Nice to see you as well.
But I'd love to see you in person too.
I know. I'd love to give you a big old squeeze. I'll tell you that right now. Yes.
With a mask.
With a mask.
Wear masks.
We must. We must. Everyone, wear your mask.
Yes.
Please. Please.
All these damn Karens out there.
Get out of here, Karens. Karens, all these Karens and these Beckys. Get out.
Chads.
Chads. That's what, and Kevins, apparently. Right?
Oh, and Kevins.
I've heard
I don't. Yeah.
No, maybe not Kevin. I'm so sorry to all the Kevins out there that I just maybe ruined.
Well, there are some Kevins I like, and then there's some Kevins I don't like. So it's one of those hit or miss.
I mean, it makes sense if you're thinking Backstreet Boys, Kevin from the Backstreet Boys. So.
Oh, that's poor guy.
Poor guy. I loved Kevin. And I'll
like
say
a foot.
it. Yeah, a little bit. Bless.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you soon. I love you. Mwah.
Bye.